These are the last few moments of 29-year-old Serafina Jones captured on camera before she vanished. On October 17, 2006, at approximately 5 a.m., Miss Jones left her apartment in the Westbridge neighborhood of Veridia, Oregon. She drove 3 miles to the Whispering Creek Trail parking lot, where she parked in the same spot and hopped out to begin her run at 5:52 a.m. By 6 a.m., a witness claimed to have seen Serafina running past her. Approximately 30 seconds later, she saw a man following at a distance. He wore a dark hoodie and a blue medical face mask. This was the last confirmed sighting of Serafina alive. At 2:45 p.m. on October 17th, Serafina's boyfriend, Daniel Reeves, reported her missing. He told police she had failed to show up for their 1 p.m. lunch date, which was highly uncharacteristic. After his calls went straight to voicemail, he drove to Whispering Creek Trail and found her silver Honda Accord in the parking lot. Detectives dispatched to the scene confirmed the vehicle was unlocked. Her keys were in the cup holder, and her wallet, containing cash and credit cards, sat on the passenger seat. Her cell phone was gone. There were no signs of a struggle. An initial canvass of the area provided little information until officers spoke with Margaret Pemberton, a local resident walking her dog. She reported seeing a woman matching Serafina's description at approximately 6:10 a.m. Critically, she also saw a man in a dark hoodie and blue medical mask following about 30 feet behind her. Police interviewed Daniel extensively. He explained their relationship was stable and provided a verifiable alibi. He was teaching at Roosevelt High School all morning. School administrators and students confirmed his whereabouts. With his alibi verified, Daniel Reeves was cleared as a suspect. The investigation now had only one focus: the unidentified man on the trail. In the following days, a massive search and rescue operation involving trained dogs and volunteers swept the trail and surrounding woods. They found nothing. With no physical evidence, detectives turned their attention to Serafina's inner circle. First, they investigated Marcus Webb, a former client entangled in a lawsuit with Serafina's firm who had sent her hostile emails. Webb, however, had an airtight alibi. He was attending a conference in Seattle, confirmed by hotel and credit card records. Next, police questioned Lydia Hartman, a close friend whose relationship with Serafina had soured over a significant unpaid loan. Hartman's alibi was also solid. Security footage and financial records placed her at a shopping mall 40 miles away. Finally, investigators looked at Gideon Croft, Serafina's business partner. Their firm was in financial trouble, giving him a potential motive. Yet, multiple witnesses and cell phone data confirmed he was at a construction site across town during the time of the disappearance. With every primary person of interest cleared, the investigation stalled. Weeks turned into a month with no new leads. The case was going cold. Then, on November 3rd, a detective re-examining evidence found something that had been missed: grainy security footage from a convenience store near the trail. It captured a man in a dark hoodie and blue medical mask walking toward the trail at 5:52 a.m. and away from it at 6:47 a.m. The phantom from the trail was real, and the police now had his image. The security footage provides the investigation's first tangible lead. After enhancing the images, detectives discover a second camera on a light pole captured a crucial 7-second clip. Serafina glances over her shoulder, and the man in the mask immediately slows his pace. Using stills from the footage, police canvass the neighborhood. Days later, the convenience store owner identifies the man as a regular customer, Kalen Al-Jamil, who lives in a nearby apartment. A background check reveals Kalen is a 32-year-old immigrant with no criminal history. He is brought in for questioning, and his apartment is searched. He admits to being on the trail, but denies seeing Serafina. The search of his home yields no forensic evidence linking him to the crime. With nothing to hold him on, police are forced to release him. Within days, Kalen's name and photo are leaked to the press. Despite the lack of evidence, the public trial begins. He loses his job and is ostracized by the community. The Veridia Police Department had no official suspect, but the public had found its villain. By January 2007, the investigation into Serafina Jones's disappearance had exhausted every lead. The district attorney's office reviewed the case file and concluded there was no physical evidence to formally charge Kalen Al-Jamil or any other person. With no body, no confession, and no new information, the case was officially designated as cold. For the Veridia police, the file was closed pending new evidence. For the public, the case was solved. Kalen Al-Jamil was hounded by local media and harassed by strangers. He became a recluse, rarely leaving his apartment as the community's suspicion hardened into undisputed fact. Without a body, Serafina's family could not have a funeral. They held a memorial service to honor her memory, but it offered no closure. The unanswered questions and the public condemnation of a man police could not convict left them in a state of limbo. As the months passed, media coverage dwindled. Serafina's name and photograph faded from the news cycle, and her disappearance became another quiet, unresolved tragedy filed away in the archives of the city's cold cases. Years passed. The disappearance of Serafina Jones became a forgotten file. In the void she left, Gideon Croft transformed Croft & Jones Architecture into one of the most successful firms in the state. He became a respected local philanthropist, praised for establishing a charitable foundation in Serafina's name. Meanwhile, Kaylan Al-Jamil disappeared from public life, using his past training as an antiquities restorer to run a small, discreet business from his apartment. In May 2013, a detective assigned to the cold case unit reopened Serafina's file. He began with a deep financial background check on everyone involved, a step the original investigation had overlooked. The audit uncovered a critical transaction. In March 2007, just 5 months after Serafina vanished, Gideon Croft received a wire transfer for $3.2 million from an anonymous offshore account. This money was the seed that allowed his struggling firm to flourish. Intrigued, the detective re-examined the physical evidence, specifically the boxes containing Serafina's work notes seized from her office. Buried within a project folder for a historic downtown building renovation, he found her personal journal. In it, Serafina detailed her belief that she had discovered the location of the Viridian Star, a priceless colonial-era artifact rumored to be hidden somewhere within the building's foundation. Suddenly, the case had a new, powerful motive that had been invisible for 7 years. The detective now had a financial trail leading to a cleared suspect and a potential treasure worth millions. The investigation was no longer cold. The detective did not visit Kaylan Al-Jamil for an interrogation, but for a conversation. He laid out the new evidence, the money wired to Gideon and Serafina's notes about the Viridian Star. For the first time in 7 years, Kaylan broke his silence. He explained that a unique symbol embroidered on Serafina's running jacket was an ancient crest of his family, tied to the lost astrolabe. He had not been stalking her to cause harm, but to build the courage to ask how she knew of it. He then provided the eyewitness account that solved the case. On the morning of October 17, 2006, Kaylan saw Serafina speaking with a man beside a car parked on a secluded turnoff. He witnessed the man grab her arm and force her into the vehicle. The man was Gideon Croft. Terrified that he, a Yemeni immigrant, would be blamed, Kaylan said nothing. Armed with Kaylan's testimony, police obtained a warrant to search the historic building. In a sealed section of the sub-basement, cadaver dogs located human remains. Dental records confirmed it was Serafina Jones. She had been killed by blunt force trauma to the head. Gideon Croft was arrested. Faced with the evidence, he confessed. He had lured Serafina to the site to get the location of the artifact. When she refused, he killed her in a rage, buried her body in concrete, and later sold the Viridian Star on the black market to pay off gambling debts. He was convicted of first-degree murder and sentenced to life in prison. Kaylan Al-Jamil was publicly exonerated, and the Viridia Police Department issued a formal apology. The investigation, however, was not over. Using his expertise, Kaylan helped authorities track and recover the astrolabe from a private collector in Switzerland. In a public ceremony, he donated his family's recovered heirloom to the Viridia History Museum to be displayed with a plaque reading, "In memory of Serafina Jones, who found what was lost." The disappearance and murder of Serafina Jones left a complex legacy in Viridia. For her family, the final truth provided a painful but necessary closure, allowing them to finally lay her to rest. However, the 7 years of uncertainty, compounded by the betrayal of a trusted friend, left permanent scars. The case served as a sobering lesson for the community and the media, which had hastily condemned an innocent man based on circumstantial evidence and prejudice. Kaylan Al-Jamil's public exoneration forced a difficult citywide conversation about bias and the rush to judgment. The formal apology he received from law enforcement was a rare admission of institutional failure. Ultimately, the case of Serafina Jones is remembered not just for its tragic end, but for the quiet persistence of a single detective and the courage of a witness who finally felt safe enough to speak. The Viridian Star remains one of the most visited exhibits at the City Museum, a silent testament to the brilliant architect who unearthed it and the innocent man who honored her memory by giving away his own history.